Before we start, please read the disclaimer on the screen and in the description. It was the first night of Christmas break from school in our county. A few friends had been doing angel trumpets in the past few weeks, and I decided it was my turn to try them out. I read up a little, and at night, I harvested from a local plant. I grabbed a few flowers and leaves off of this 6 to 7 foot plant. I went home at midnight, chopped up 2 7-inch flowers and a leaf. I boiled the product in a liter of water. I picked up a friend, named the Mexican, in the car, and brought him over. We each drank half a liter, throwing away the plant matter. After 30 minutes or so, we got a slight body buzz with some hardcore cotton mouth. We were listening to some slow lounge, or techno, and at this moment, we are just chilling. I would compare the buzz to smoking some shitty weed, without the high. We both fell asleep, and my friend woke me up at 4 AM. I drove him home. We were pretty disappointed. I went home and slept, woke up at 10, and decided straight up to eat some more angel trumpets. This was mistake number 1. I was supposed to pick up my younger brother and sister at daycare at 12. I made myself an angel's trumpet and ham sandwich with 2 flowers, a leaf, a slice of ham, and some mayonnaise. I washed it down with a cup of water. The plants did not taste very good, but didn't really taste all that bad either. I ate the whole thing, including the stem or main vein, or whatever if the leaf was difficult to chew. After 20 minutes I grew impatient and ate a whole other flower. Then about 2 minutes later, I cleaned up my mess and drove over to a friend's house. Let's call him the Jew. The Jew is my smoking partner. I have smoked a lot of bud with this guy. His room is the designated and preferred smoking area. I had not smoked in about 4 months because of a few lifestyle changes, but he's still a good friend and I wanted to hang out. We're in his room and he's smoking, and he asks me whether I'm feeling anything yet. I say a little, not really, though. Actually, I would describe my mindset at that time as similar to right before ecstasy kicks in. When I know some stuff is about to happen to my body and mind, I can feel something coming, but not just yet. He suggests I take a hit of his pipe to get things going. I comply and lay back after one hit on the couch, listening to some music. As I'm staring at his dresser, relaxing, I see worms underneath the flat drawer, wriggling around under the skin of the wood. Also, I had developed some hardcore, badass cotton mouth since I had stepped into the Jew's house. I'm talking unimaginable cotton mouth, white dry lips. I could hardly talk. I tell Jew that I'm starting to hallucinate mildly and that I should get home before it hits harder. We walk downstairs and the Mexican says to me, "Hey, remind the Jew to get you some water. You look pretty bad." I say, "Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me." I ask the Jew for some water. He gets me a glass. I down it, biting dead skin off of my lips with my teeth and swishing water to every part of my oral cavity. The Jew says, "Are you okay to drive?" I answer yeah and tell him, "Peace," and I'm off. So I run out to my car and start driving home. I feel just a little stoned at this point. Later in the night I realize that the Mexican was not at the Jew's house and that I was talking to myself in the kitchen. But I start driving home, a 9-minute drive, and black out after about 2 minutes on the road. Apparently, I drove okay while blacked out, because when I came to at 12:40, about a minute past the turn for my house, I was in a turning lane, and I stopped. I had been gone from the Jew's house for about 50 minutes. I turn, still stopped in the turning lane, left and looked at the Jew. I tell him to stop laughing, that he's tripping me out. I turn off the radio. "Frick," I say, looking at the time. "I was supposed to pick up the kids almost an hour ago. I'm going to go pick them up, then drop you at your house. Okay, Mr. Jew?" I look back over at him, but he's not there. I'm confused, but black out again. 5 minutes later I regain a little consciousness while going 60, the speed limit, along a highway next to the Gulf of Mexico. I start losing control of the car and swerve slowly on and off of the shoulder of the highway. The Jew is in the passenger seat, cracking up. I tell him, "Watch the road, dude, you are going off of the road," thinking for some reason that it is under his control. We drive left, into the median, across the other lane of traffic, and onto the opposite shoulder into some sand. The Jew says, "Watch this," smiles, and hits the gas a little, driving us a few feet further into the sand, and nudging a small wood and wire dune fence. He thinks this is so funny. I lay my face on the steering wheel and fall asleep. I immediately wake back up to a knock on my window. A policeman. He asks for my license. I give him my Sam's card. He asks why I just hit his fence. It's not your fence, I say. He repeats the question. I didn't. My brother, man, my brother, the Jew, did. He's. I look over. Where is the Jew? I didn't mean to say brother. I couldn't really form sentences at this time. Whatever came out came out. I'm confused. He asks me to step out of the car. I think it's nighttime, but it's about 12:50 in the afternoon at this point. I'm a little sketchy about the details at this point. I take a BAC, no alcohol in my blood. He says he thinks I'm on drugs. My mom is there. He tells her that I'm talking to people that aren't there. I realize subconsciously that I'm hallucinating and that I'm seriously in trouble in this situation, but I continue to be confused about why I'm acting so crazy. I'm very polite with the officer and compliant with everything he asks of me, to the best of my ability. He asks me to walk over to him. I try, but I know subconsciously that this is an impossibility. I take 2 steps, and then my pelvis flies forward, like it was hit by a car. I fall into the stickers and sand. I get up, take another step, and the same thing happens, only this time I fall onto the officer. He catches me, handcuffs me, and puts me in the squad car. He asks if I know where I am. I give him the correct location. I black out for a bit, talk to my grandfather, black out some more, then I'm at a table talking to the officer. He asks if I know where I am. I give him the same answer I did before. No, he says. You're at the police department. You've been arrested for driving under influence. This does not bother me. He makes me sign some papers, which I cannot read, because my nearsighted vision is blurry. I'm taken to a small holding cell with black iron bars for a door. I sit on a bench in the cell, watching a few officers walk past occasionally. I black out and wake up, staring at this green grid in front of me, in place of the iron bars. There is a female, odd looking, about 8 feet tall and 4 inches thick, slipping in and out of this green grid. I see a spider hanging from the ceiling near her. I'm completely focused on these things, not aware that they are not real, or that anything else exists, except for this girl, spider, and grid. I wake up in my mom's car. She is driving me to the hospital. I'm depressed, and not completely with it yet. Just enough to understand the situation, and be depressed about it. I check into the hospital. I had been in the holding cell for 6 hours. It had seemed like 5 minutes. The rest is not really important, except that I spent 21 days, including Christmas and New Year's, in rehab. And this not very nice nurse at the hospital took like 6 vials of blood out of my arm and was digging around with the needle, not leaving it stationary. I did not like that. Also, I think that the trumpets did some sort of minor neurological damage, because, a week or 2 later, my right eye developed a small rapid twitch that comes and goes, and has been with me for 2 weeks. It isn't noticeable, unless you're looking for it, but I can feel it, and it is very agitating. This was not tripping, it was hallucinating. There is a difference. This was not really worth it for me, but I suppose it's one more crazy experience to add to the list. Peace. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing.